Hello everybody, it's Neck of the Woods, and I have another video for you. In this video, I'm going to talk about how women will exploit you as a man. And this applies to pretty much any woman, regardless what race she is, her ethnic group, background, whichever country she comes from, whatever state inside of this country she may come from, whether she's from the city or from the suburbs or the country rural areas, she will exploit you when given the chance. And this even applies to other types of men who may be on the receiving end of this exploitation by females, by women. Women will exploit you when given a chance. Now, what is the chance? The chance is basically the chances you give the woman that opens yourself up to being exploited, which is getting taken advantage of. The first thing that a man would do that opens himself up to getting exploited would be being a simp. You can listen to any video on YouTube right now where many men of all races from all walks of life talk about what simping is. Simping, you will get exploited because a woman will pick up on what you're trying to do or whatever you're trying to do with her that's like in her benefit. She's going to use that to her advantage, and she's going to try and milk you dry. It's like draining blood from a leaf, so to speak. She's just going to keep on doing it. Another way a woman will exploit you is if you just do a simple favor her. Now, you can do favors for women. It's actually in a man's nature to do a favor for a woman. To the men out there listening to this video, I suggest that if you do favors for women, I don't know how many favors you do for each and every woman, but you need to cut back on your favors that you do, because these women really do not appreciate the favors you do for them. You might just do a simple favor, something that they need done, and you're willing to do them a favor. Now, that doesn't necessarily make you a simp. What makes you a simp is the amount of favors you do, the type of favors you do, among other things. So just cut back on the amount of favors you do for different women. And also another thing, if you don't know this woman, let's say you're walking in a store. A lot of men need to start doing this, but I don't think it's going to happen. But you should consider doing this, and that is, you're walking around in a public store and a woman you don't know comes up to you and asks you for assistance of some kind or whatever that may be. You should actually reject her. You should just not do the favor. Why would you do the favor? Why would you help her out? What I started doing this a few years ago as I started realizing the situation us men are in, and you guys should start doing this as well. It's up to you. I don't care. I don't hold the door open for women no more. I don't. I stopped doing that. I stopped holding the door open. Like, that's a common gentlemanly thing to do that a lot of us men are brought up to do. I stopped holding the door open for women that I don't know. I just walk inside the business or wherever I'm going. I open the door for myself and I let it close. I don't care who's around me, especially if it's a woman. Let her open the door for herself. That's not my woman. That's not my girlfriend. That's not my wife. I'm not fucking her. A lot of men need to kind of start having this mentality. Don't open the doors for the woman. There's another thing that kills me too. I don't ride the bus anymore. I have my own car. But I used to ride the bus a lot when I didn't have a car. And you notice how a lot of women will not pay you any attention or will not take you serious as a man just because you don't have a car, you don't own a vehicle, you're taking public transportation. She considers you of low value because of that. You haven't achieved that sort of a materialistic possession, even to own a simple vehicle. It's even so bad, even these bitches who ride the bus with you, they look at you the same exact way. They see that, oh, you riding the bus just like they are. So they definitely have nothing to do with you. They're looking for some man who has something, so they can exploit that man of his resource and his time. So you may be interested in a woman that's riding the bus, and I suggest you shouldn't be interested in her aside from just sex, aside from just pussy. You need to look at these women the same way they look at you. You really shouldn't even be looking at a woman that's riding the bus, be honest with you, because of the bullshit you're going to go through. And also, she has nothing of her own. So you need a woman that has resources that you can use to your benefit. But this is what kills me. I see, in spite of the situation that these men are in riding the bus, I'm not talking about the people who have transportation and they park their car at a station and then they use public transportation on their way to work to kind of save money or whatever that means. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if you actually don't have a vehicle and you just have to take public transportation. These men will fucking let these bitches get on before them, ladies first. That's bullshit. You're gonna let these same women who don't give a fuck about you, who don't care for you, who is not interested in you, even if you was to approach them because they see that you're riding the bus just like they are, but you're gonna let them get on the bus before you. Ladies first. You're gonna be a gentleman. They don't appreciate that shit, so they get on the bus before you. And then another thing that kills me, these same stupid ass simp dudes who are riding the bus. So let's say you're on the bus, you're actually sitting down in your seat, then you see a group of women get on this bus. You actually give up your seat for one of these bitches. So now that bitch comes onto the bus, she sits down in what was your seat, and now your dumb punk ass is standing up. Why? What are you doing that for? That's not going to make her your girlfriend. You're not going to get her pussy. I don't want to hear about, oh, it's the kind thing to do, it's the right thing to do. Man, fucking think about yourself sometimes, you dumbass. If I'm riding the bus, I am not getting up standing for a bitch. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to give my seat up to a bitch and then I'm the one that's going to be standing. Fuck that. Sometimes it's not just these women who exploit you. Sometimes you exploit yourself like that. And when you exploit yourself like that, the woman is not going to be like, excuse me, sir, you're exploiting yourself. You don't have to do this for me. You should keep your seat. Thank you. No, that bitch is going to fucking take advantage of that. And at that point, I'm not even blaming her for that. That was your dumbass for standing up, giving your seat away to this bitch. So, no, it's those simple things that men do. Really, women will exploit you when given the chance, but really, you're actually the one that's exploiting your own self. I had to learn this shit on my own the hard way. And once I realized how dumb I was and what the fuck I was doing, I stopped that shit. One less gentleman in the world. And another thing about being a gentleman. We live in a society where being a gentleman is not feasible. You should look up the history of gentlemanly behavior and where it all started and where it came from and the causes and the reasons to be a gentleman. You need to check that out on your own free time. I already have, and I am actually going to do a video talking about the history of the gentleman. I got a lot of videos coming up real soon. So everything I talk about, there's a reason. But I suggest you start doing your own research on what a gentleman really is and the purpose of being a gentleman. I will say this in closing. We do not live in a society that is conducive to gentlemanly behavior. There's really no reason to be a gentleman right now. Women have more rights than men here in Western society, here in the United States of America. So there's no point in being a gentleman. Back when being a gentleman was the thing, a man was, and I will talk about this in my video of my future video, the history of being a gentleman. Back then, when men dominated society, dominated their communities, the family, the household, the nation at the time, men were dominant. As feminists would probably say, men were pretty much chauvinistic at the time. Then you had a few men out there, and I guess you could call them simps, but at that time, they weren't simps, they were gentlemen. They took the option of not being so harsh on women. At that time, they kind of felt sorry for women and their plight. So they decided to do kind gestures, and it was called being a gentleman. And they did that because very few men at that time were gentlemen. So the few men who decided to take on that action were called gentlemen. Nowadays, if you do the same thing, you're not a gentleman no more. You're a simp. That's why you would be a simp. Because there's no need to do that shit that you're doing. And all that ties in with being exploited. Then you also have some very sophisticated women who are very intelligent, whose sole purpose in life is to exploit men. That's why I actually don't want a woman that's extremely intelligent. It's been my experience that most smart, intelligent women will use their intelligence to take advantage of a man. They won't use it for good. They won't comply with you. They won't be submissive. They will think they're smarter than you. They think they're better than you. All women think they're smarter and better than you, really, as a rule, especially ones living in America. So, I want a woman of average intelligence, just smart enough to listen to me and respect me, but not so smart that she thinks she can exploit me. A lot of you men really need to start looking at women this way. That is all I'm going to say on this matter. I'm Nick of the Woods, and I am out. Have a good evening, folks.